Welcome to SAs and IPAs, presented by CDI Studios.
Welcome to another episode of SAs and IPAs. I, once again, am Michael Colonno, the AVP of the Data Center Solutions team here at CDI. I am joined by Kyle Mullin, who you all know and love.
Oh, Vice President of Solutions Architects.
Oh, I thank you. And Colleen, who are you? Why are you here?
I'm a Senior Solutions Architect here at CDI. So
Fantastic.
I'm here for, SAs and IPAs.
Okay, and you actually are drinking an IPA.
You're here.
Kyle, we have to say, first of all, it is his birthday during this episode. For those of you that know him very well, you obviously, by the time this comes out, you'll be like, it is not his birthday, but it was.
Yes.
Okay, it did happen.
July 13th.
So happy birthday. Kyle, just like Colleen, is roughly like 14. Yeah. So it's great being
15.
on the show.
I'm
15.
14.
Okay,
He's,
there you go.
1 year older than me.
Perfect.
Wiser.
So Colleen,
Yes.
you knew Kyle before CDI.
I did.
So we're going to bring out a whiteboard, everybody, so we can document all the things that she knows that Kyle should have and shouldn't have done. No, I'm just kidding. But what brought you to CDI? I want to start there, just because you are like, we've had on the show, we've had a lot of people that were part of acquisitions. Mm-hmm. We've had several people that are, Kyle's more an OG, in quotation marks, than me.
Yep.
But it's still, we're part of before all that happened.
Yep.
So, take us through how you kind of came into IT, and also how you came, to this place.
Yeah. So my career journey started at JP Morgan Chase, and nothing bad about that, but It was really corporate. I really didn't like it. It was in Delaware, which again, great state, but not for...
It's great for retiring. No
it's
taxes.
It's great for college and retiring, and that's about it.
That's right, you were a blue hen.
I was a blue hen. Go Blue Hens.
Go Blue Hens.
But I was at Chase for about 3 years, moved to Philly, really wanted to get to New York, and an old manager from Chase got me to New York at a startup, which was like complete opposite, right? Going from like corporate,
well established, to like you're sweeping floors and answering calls. Yeah.
Exactly. One of the things I hated about Chase is I felt like, you'd start a project in year one, and then you'd work 3 years to complete the project because it moved at a glacial pace. And then by the time you got finished with it, somebody new came in and said, nope, I want to go back to the way we were doing it 3 years ago. And I was like,
great.
Wow, that's cool. Okay. So don't want to do that anymore.
Right.
Yeah. And instead went again to the complete opposite startup in New York. It was like this trade surveillance. So still in finance. I wanted to get out of finance so badly. Still in finance, but was totally different from Chase. And it was cool. I came in and without knowing it, did pre-sales there, was asked to demo the product on calls to potential customers. And then, of course, in the true startup-y way, it was like, okay, we signed a customer. Now we need to do project management and onboarding. And I was like, I've never done any of that, but let's go. And so I would do that. And then it was like, okay, what data do we need? We don't really know. Figuring it out on the fly. We got acquired. Thank God. And they
used your way out.
Yeah, no, well, they got acquired, and we staffed up the team and just brought a bunch of people on, and everybody kind of started to fall into their unique positions instead of doing a little bit of everything. And that was great. I was there for about 4 years, learned a lot about inside trading, which was cool. And
inside trading?
Well,
like illegal
inside? So she didn't... Well,
I learned a lot about how to
let's say inside, not insider trading.
Oh, yeah, it is insider trading, but it was, it was
how to catch it.
It's what the software was that you worked with. Yeah,
it looked at, it was surveillance, trade surveillance, and would look at post
anomalies in trades.
Exactly.
Cool.
So I'm going to pause you just because you're getting to the point of where we a lot of times start these, of the question of, like I always say every time, everybody has that kind of defining moment when they start to pivot into like they can't stand that kind of mishmash and they want to get to that architecture point, and as I always say, it's similar to the same thing. Everybody has that booze. There's always a story of like what they don't want to do, what they don't want to drink anymore. Yeah. So is there a booze that you don't drink anymore.
Oh, we skipped how she got the CDI.
No, I know, but this is in this story is starting to be where that is. So
You're
I want
the host. You guide. You navigate. You navigate.
I think for me at the time in my head, the booze was finance. Like, get me out of finance.
Well, what was the actual booze?
The actual booze?
The actual booze that you won't drink anymore.
Yeah,
Everybody
I know,
has that
rum.
story, and it's Kyle's fault.
It's Captain Morgan.
Captain
specifically.
Morgan.
Oh my God. I'm sorry, Ariel. She saved me.
Oh, okay. She's not still wherever you left her?
No, she saved me that night. But yeah, Captain Morgan is that actual booze.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to get that on the table. And then now, like I said, sorry to interrupt, but
bring me back there.
now
Thanks for that trauma response.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
It's good.
So I know that was one of your last positions before you started to come here. So that's why I wanted to stop there. So now kind of from that point forward, what was really your thought process? I mean, you knew him, like I joked around about, but at the same time, did you even know what the heck he did?
No, absolutely not.
What happened?
I still don't know.
We were in Hoboken, New Jersey, having a nice pizza. I don't even know why he came.
I think I just came to hang out.
Was Benny?
Hang out. And we were having some
him and
wine, some
Allie.
personal pizzas. I was having a spicy meatball, personal pie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was meatballs.
Had a margarita.
It's very impactful
Pizza.
pizza.
I had some wine.
We had
And I'm looking at
some
her,
wine.
and she's telling me about what she's doing. I'm like, you have to come over here.
I
I'm
was
like, what?
interviewing and I was like so down and out because I didn't get the job that I
That's what
just
it was.
applied for.
You gotta come
And
over
I was like,
here.
I
don't
hate
know if I could
everything.
do it. I'm like, you stop.
No, it was, I don't know if I want to work with you. It wasn't, I don't know if I could do it. I was like, Kyle, I don't
And
know if I
legitimately,
want
you
to work
probably
with you.
never interact with
I
him.
never interact.
Ever.
This is the
Forced
most
her to do it.
interaction.
Yeah, I interact with you more
Yeah.
for work stuff than he does. Probably.
Yeah. No, I was kidding. I wouldn't mind working with Kyle, but I was just like, I don't know what you do or who you do it with,
Sure.
but I don't want to work with you.
Yeah, but you have a great story. You came in
Yes,
at the bottom.
I came in.
Right?
I didn't know anything about the product that
And this
they
is
were
when we were starting
selling.
our digital transformation kind of team, right?
Yeah,
Ed Smoke, he was one of our,
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
the
Smoke
guy
was the
to
guy.
start our digital transformation practice, 4
Yeah.
or 5 years ago at this point, right?
And once again,
Focused on ServiceNow.
At the time, it was just ServiceNow. So
all it
the thing
was,
that you
right?
point out,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It was just ServiceNow, which I had never even heard of. I had to Google it before
Sure.
I came in, and then you guys had the CDI flyers in the lobby, and I pulled one of those out when I walked in. It was like it listed ServiceNow on it, and I was like, okay,
Just say
so
that.
the really, yeah. And I came in, and Rob was supposed to be interviewing me with Ed, and Rob was dying of COVID before we even knew what COVID was.
Yes, when he came back from Paris.
But
from
he was
France,
still
rather.
on video. We've still chatted with me there. And I said to them, I promise. I was like, guys, I promise I'll figure it out. Just take a shot, take a chance with me. I like people. I like sales from what I know. And 3 years later, the team has grown tremendously.
So have you?
I have
Well.
too. I'm about an inch taller. You know?
Well, I mean, I guess that 14, 15, that could be the
Yeah,
end of
it's-
your spurt.
Right. I'm done now. But but it's been a great ride. And also to see the different technologies that have come in.
Yeah.
I now know what ServiceNow is. Which
That's
is cool.
good to know.
It's good.
Because I've heard you talk about it a lot.
I do.
So let's pause and give Colleen credit where credit's due, right? So
Sure.
So she said how she came in 3 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And didn't know even.
She started in COVID, April.
3 and change. Yeah,
Yeah.
I started.
So-
I remember calling
Which
Rob
made
and
it
being
even more
like,
difficult. You didn't know
hey, are
Yeah.
we
Couldn't go to an
doing
office.
this? Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, I think we're doing this. And I was like, please tell me if we're doing this because I'm putting my 2 weeks in right now.
Yeah.
And he called me back and was like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're doing it, but we're going to be remote for just probably 2 weeks.
I mean,
Wow.
I met
Yeah.
Colleen in Rob's backyard.
yes,
where
that's right. For the
So that's the first place.
Barbecue.
Besides that was basically Colleen, a bed, and a cat. That
Yeah,
was basically
I was-
all
I was
I
in
knew
my
of
studio.
Colleen.
Yep.
So to give you credit where credit's due, I mean, a perfect example is, so like we've talked about in some of the other episodes, we now have that OCTO, that Office of the CTO,
Yep.
we talked about. And I guess one of the developments that we haven't said, just because we don't try to make this a complete commercial, but still at the same time, it's important to say in context, is we do executive briefings with that team.
Yep.
And, once again, for credit where credit's due, Colleen is usually that member, is usually that digital person that's talking about whatever it is encompassing digital within that meeting, which, for everybody watching, whether you've been a part of one or if you've heard of it, we almost kind of took that old EMC or old vendor feel of being able to focus on different impactful things someone should listen to. And it's usually with C-level people, right? So, that's why I'm kind of, one, you're representing that at the highest level of conversation, and starting from not even knowing.
I know. Well, that was one tool that I really didn't know what its purpose was and who was using it and what its importance was in the business. And now, it makes a lot of sense, right? Seeing how it ties together and then ties into different tools. And
it speaks to the kind of person you are, right? 3 years, not knowing what anything was, really. Coming from a specific product and financial services, coming over, learning a whole platform, right? ServiceNow isn't one product, it's a platform, right? And then coming up the ranks at CDI, there's a lot of A players at this company that we, we have on the show every, however often we do this, right? And you've elevated yourself really quickly. Right, to jump to the position, senior solutions architect with an eye on, office of CTO, principal solutions architect at CDI, it speaks volumes about your capabilities.
So he brings up a good comment around that in terms of basically maturing how you probably even deliver things. Now that you are in those briefings, how do you think what do you think you use within those? Because one of the other things we try to do is develop, our viewers in terms of how they should be presenting their own material, whether they're at a customer presenting to their higher ups to buy something, whether it's a peer, could be somebody at a competitor. Like now that you're in those, like I've sat in there and I have my feedback, but we always judge some of these by the follow-up conversations. Right. Like what do you feel you say or how you convey it to actually get somebody bought in to be like, oh, you know what? That one thing is pretty impactful. Let's talk about that. Yeah.
I would say that for the most part, and I think this is true for a lot of how I got to where I am at CDI, is I mirror. So I listen to the way that the questions that the executives in the room are asking. I listen to the way that our executives respond. All the way up to Rich, right? The way that he's presenting to us when he speaks at, the kickoff or addresses the company on quarterly meetings, whatever it is. I'm listening to how and what they're saying and what they're asking and what they're curious about. And then the content that I'm putting together, I'm using a lot of times the basis of what my peers are using in the room, right? Because I'm in the room with a lot of smart people. So it's like, what does Felix have that he's presenting, or Brian Kennedy, or Will Huber? Will's the first person I ever copied. I'll never forget. He presented at our, one of the online
the Tech Summit.
The Tech Summit.
Yeah. That was the Tech Summit too.
He did a DevOps presentation at the Tech Summit, and we recorded that. And afterwards, I studied it and literally relayed it back and put in some of my own personal experiences with previous roles. And he was impressed with that, as were other people. But it was just me mimicking a lot of his thoughts and taking and tying into my stuff. So I feel like it's look at the people that you look up to. Consider, like Kyle. Consider the way that Kyle presents.
Had to.
In career goals, not stature.
Both, if you have to look down sometimes, that's okay too. Humbles you. So no, I think that's the biggest way that I have come up with some of content, and always looking at some of the corporate stuff from partners.
Yeah. So that's something great, right? Is in meetings, and this is going to circle back to something I'm going to ask you, is some of those soft skills are something that's very lost, right? During COVID, a lot of people lost soft skills. If you read a lot of the things about people coming out of college and things like that, it even talks about some of the global SIs, like Accenture having classes now for some of their consultants because out of college, because they just lost those things. So mirroring. Mirroring's very huge, right? That's in terms of nonverbal cues. It could be physical, leaning in when someone else is leaning in, lean back, whatever, right? But mirroring. Something in terms of a takeaway for people is there's a lot of business books that were derived from people that were, I know this sounds funny, but hostage negotiators. There's a couple out there, and they're phenomenal books around those types of things. It's just negotiation in life, right? It doesn't need to be business. Yeah. It could be
it
anybody.
Applies across everything, right? The same, a lot of the same concepts.
Anybody that has kids that needs to like convince them to eat the chicken fingers that they told you they wanted to eat, whatever.
So how do you know you're not mirroring a bad actor?
Ooh,
that's
true.
Question.
That's true. Well, this isn't.
You're mirroring the right person or the right thing.
Well, it's true. Well, I mean that. So to give Rob credit, he talked. We've talked about it before in terms of the different personalities, right? You don't know, because it's kind of the faster you delineate who those people are in the meeting, right? The easier it is for you to get to, because you need to decide one. There's always that person that might be an influencer, but they're not a decision maker. Sure. And at the same time, you might be mirroring the person that's just trying to prove you wrong because you might be threatening their job, right? Yeah. With automation and DevOps and all those things, like you might be. But it's kind of like to use a CDI kind of hashtag here, the whole change or die, right? Is when you are modernizing, like. People either have to learn a new skill or they might be made redundant, which sucks, but it's true.
Yeah. Well, I think to your point, how do you know whether you're mirroring the right person? What's more important, I think, is, for me anyway, understanding what questions are being asked by what players, right? So and I do that a lot as an SA because I don't want to be caught not knowing the answer to something. And of course, you can always say, I'll get back to you, but what are the hard questions? What are the hard questions in the room? I don't want to lie.
No, well, that's one of those things. You can't lie in IT. Yeah. Around your resume or anything. Just don't pretend. Just be honest. People will respect it way more.
That's true.
Yeah.
So our last episode, I had Alyssa and Heather Smedley. And so as a women's only podcast besides myself, right? So one of the things that we talked about is women in IT has been a huge focus. And
as it should be.
As it should be. Thank you, Kyle. But at the same time, we're starting to see a bunch more women in IT.
Yep.
Why do you think that is?
I think probably because of the big push, right? Everybody's setting the stage for women to be coming up. And I think at a younger age, maybe girls are being pushed to explore those areas.
Sure.
I think parents are probably a big part of it too. I remember growing up, my mom was a nurse, my dad was in IT, and he said to me, there are no girls in IT, but that doesn't mean that you don't have to do that. Yeah. You should go for that, and you're really good at computers. You're really fast at typing. I was actually.
So
what was that game?
Mavis Beacon. Yes, I was Mavis Beacon original. Okay.
What was your WPM? 90? You were in the hundreds?
Yeah, still am.
You were in the hundreds?
Even with these nails.
I don't know. Let me rip that right now. Get it out.
Let's get it out.
Let's go. Mavis Beacon, right?
Mavis Beacon teaches. Wow.
Try that.
It's only 5.3%, I swear. Mavis Beacon teaches typing. That's what it was,
right?
It.
Yes. That's my favorite. ASDF. Oh my God. I was known for, this is a little bit of a...
You were really popular in school.
No. This is like the big, probably a nerd alert right now. Yeah, well, I have a blank keyboard, no letters. Or
I used to...
Still have it?
Yes.
Oh.
No. So, I got this in recent... this is even worse, but I got this recently. Oh. The startup the CEO of the startup was I went and sat down at his machine and was typing, and his was clear, and he was so impressed that I could do it that he ordered me one.
Wow.
Yes.
What I used to do is I used to pop off the keys and mix them around, so if somebody sat down, they'd be like, wait, are the keys where the keys are, or the letters where the letters are?
I never did that.
Oh yeah, because you're way better.
I just had a blank keyboard.
So one of the things we talked about last time also was STEM.
Yeah.
Because of STEM, that also might be a thing, because now STEM is in a lot of schools, and their science and all those different things, no matter boys, girls, anything, is just a focus now.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's another thing. Another thing I think is interesting, and I think Kyle and I are kind of examples of it right now, right, is we're almost the new work outfit. We're almost the uniform of today for business casual. So
you're talking no more suits and ties.
So out of COVID, we all dressed down.
Just leave it on the ground. Can I get a beer?
Sacrifice to the beer gods.
You better cut this out.
It's my birthday. I'm gonna have another one.
There you go.
Cheers for me.
Cheers.
By the way, it's also our 10th episode.
It is our 10th episode.
Bring it over here. Bring over the beer. Bring over the beer. I got my assistant.
There we go.
Birthday assistant.
We have a beer caddy.
Yes, STEM.
Hold on. Let's do a pause. So first of all, 10 episodes.
10 episodes. Cheers to you.
So
congratulations on your 10th episode. I figured we'd be done by 2.
Then also, do you want to give a shout out to our producer?
I want to give a shout out to our producer, Spencer Grogan, Grogan, I believe it's spelled. He just got engaged recently.
Congratulations.
So he's very, very excited. He also thinks he's better than me at basketball, which he's not.
That's true.
I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him, and I wish him the best. And don't edit any of this out. So. What's your points per game in college?
I meant more like.
Oh, we're not going to talk about that.
He's 6'4". What's your wingspan?
Well, I don't know. I haven't measured that in a while.
All right, we're going to measure his wingspan after this.
Parking lot.
So let's talk about the Brewskis, right? So Kyle wants to talk about it because it's from his hometown. So let's start with there.
So I'm a Bergen County boy, born and raised in Rivervale, New Jersey. My grandparents were from Westwood. So my father's from Westwood. And they just recently opened a brewery called 5 Dimes Brewery. And this is the first time I'm having it, though, because my colleague just brought it. Apparently, it's they make special cans for his country club. But this stuff is delicious. So 5 Dimes Brewery in Westwood. Yeah. This is the premium New England IPA, Old Man IPA.
Kyle, let's give it a taste. Let's give it a rating.
I was just having the Pilsner. Oh, that's nice. I'm going to give it a Bergen County boost.
Ooh.
Give it plus 1 point. I'm going to give it a 9.1.
Whoa.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
It's a great beer.
It's pretty smooth. I will give it an 8. As I'm a Bergen County person also. I'm from Upper Saddle River, so.
Is that like with the plus 1 or?
No, I'm not giving you a boost.
You don't give it a
You're not giving it a Bergen County boost?
Wow.
No.
All right. Birthday boys only.
Does Tom's River or Forked River give a boost?
Ocean County?
Ocean County boost?
What do you think?
Forked could give it a boost. Yeah.
Well, there are different brew. Is Carton's there, right?
Carton's there. I like Kyle's.
Okay. Oh, is it?
I'll bring that for our next one. It's delicious.
I'll bring you some Mentorship from South Jersey.
Nice. 30 South.
South. It's like really controversial. We'll not get into that, but.
So what do you think about this?
I like it. You know, I'm not a big IPA girl, but this one's not too bad. It's not like in your face IPA.
Yeah,
you're gonna have a headache by the end of the can.
Yeah.
So I do like it for IPAs. I would give it an 8.5. Yeah.
Okay.
Ocean County doesn't give any boost unless it's from Ocean County. So like.
Nice.
That's Kane.
Kane is very good.
Yeah.
Kane is
New
good.
Jersey.
So,
which we reviewed previously.
How do you think, as a female, how do you think has your kind of work attire changed like ours has, or do you feel you basically dress the same? You know.
Since COVID, I think it has changed drastically. Okay. And I apparently have like this attachment to my old work clothes because I haven't let them go yet. But I have
leave them under my desk.
That's shoes. Yeah. I only leave the shoes under your desk, and I still wear them. That's the point. Like,
oh, it's like the changing station.
I come in, I see these shoes that are like a size 12, and I'm like,
excuse me, they're an 8.5. If anyone is sending shoes out, like 8.5 would be great.
We do get a lot of free shoes.
Yeah,
everybody keep on sending free shoes.
I'll accept any and all. But yeah, Kyle's office. That is one thing that never died. I always had shoes under my desk.
Right.
Heels.
Your desk is mine.
Heels.
Okay. So
specifically.
So
it has changed.
Is it we're all wearing jeans?
I'm pretty casual today.
But I'm saying normally. Is jeans something that's a standard for you now?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
I feel
it's
like
Southern Belle dresses all day, every
Southern
day.
Belle dresses up to here. No, I've switched into like, I'm still in like casual like pants, like work pants, slack pants, I guess. But it is more casual,
no suit
like
jackets,
definitely no suit jackets. I do wear jeans, but I dress up the top because I like, I don't know, maybe I'm just old school like that. I don't.
Listen, it can be personal, but this is a personal question. This isn't like you're not speaking for all women ever, right? No. Like I'm not going to hold you to it.
In general,
there's going to be tweets, but what I'm after really is like for us, it's great.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want to ever wear a full suit unless it's something very specific ever again.
Yeah.
You know, I am very comfortable. I might have a blazer on, but at the same time, you know, it's kind of like the same thing with like webcams. It's like you go, I go.
Yeah.
You know, like not everybody always has it on. It's almost like you wait for the customer to turn it on for us.
Right.
And if they do, then you do, right?
Yep.
Or you might start with it on. You're like, oh, nobody else does. I'm gonna turn this off. You know, but so webcams. Are you a webcam? Just like on person?
No, definitely not on immediately. Not on camera right away. I usually wait. Unless it's like somebody like my boss, Kyle Mullin, you're sitting right in front of me, you're not my boss, Kyle Wiley. We're always, like when we do one-on-ones, we're almost always on.
Yeah.
Like, and that's internals. Because I can have my hair in a messy bun, you know? I know you don't know, but for the girls out there,
I don't have a man bun.
Yeah,
so.
and if you did, it probably, I don't know. If
I could pull it off.
Men do messy man buns. I don't know if that's a thing, but anyway, so you know.
So,
and sometimes you have to like quickly fix it if everybody's on
dry shampoo.
All right, I'm reeling this back in.
Yeah.
So reeling it back in, you did have to learn a lot of technologies you weren't familiar with, right? So. That is true for a lot of the people watching, whether they're CDI people, whether it's a salesperson, an SA, whatever. We have to learn things constantly.
Yeah.
And most of us do this because we like it. But at the same time, sometimes it's overwhelming. So do you have a mechanism or a tool that you use to learn these things? Like some sort of methodology of like, Atlassian. Like, okay, well now I got to learn this. Like, how do you go? Like, how do you attack a new technology?
So it depends on what the reason I'm attacking the technology is for, right?
That's a good answer.
So if I have to use it, like we use Salesforce all the time. If I have to use it for my job, I'm the type of person that will click around on every button until I find something whatever I need, right? So I'm an exploratory user, meaning like I click on things, I'm looking around, I will Google the shit out of everything. Like, how do I do this in Salesforce? How do I do this in Jira? I don't tend to go and look at the
training videos.
I never
user
read
guides.
the user manual to anything,
well,
even when it's setting things up. You know, like
RTFM
IKEA.
back in the day, right?
So but if I'm expected to know the product, if I'm expected to present it to a customer, or if a customer wants me to go deeper into a section of a product, that's when I'm going and using, you know, for example, ServiceNow. ServiceNow's websites, they've got like so many different resources that you can use, whether it's videos or even the content for delivery is really good.
So are you a video part? Like so along those is it click through kind of guides that somebody put through? Is it videos? Like what? Or is it like, you know, you're the person in the lab, you know, in chemistry class, that was how you learned it, or physics or whatever class, right? Like was that, you have to click around?
I have to click around. And I will use those guides as like a starting point, and then I usually skip steps 1 through 5 because I already did them, and I look at 6, and if 6 doesn't work, then I skip to 12. Like I'm not really thorough unless I really have to be. And then it comes out broken, and I go back and fix it.
Kyle can tell you.
That's me.
I go to
step 1 and skip to 15. It's all broken.
Yeah.
And I give up.
I've done things so bad in Salesforce, we had to get the developers involved.
We love version history. We love versioning. You can go back to that previous version.
So what if it's something we don't have internally, and it's something, hey, Ed, whomever comes to you and says, listen, this seems really hot. It fills this. Let's say one day we say we're going to do Workday. You know, how would you approach Workday for us to actually to talk about it knowledgeably?
I mean, honestly, the first thing I'd probably do is go to LinkedIn and look and see if I know anybody that works at Workday.
Okay.
Because I'm a people person, and I'm going to call them up and be like,
that's a cool answer.
I need somebody to show me how this
You're going to bother
works.
somebody else to teach
Yeah,
you.
of course.
Listen.
Hey, or bother somebody else to put me in contact with somebody
to get the Cliff Notes.
Or give me the Cliff Notes that are better than what's available on the web.
I really like that.
I love LinkedIn. Big proponent.
So that talks about something that we talked about in a previous episode also, is kind of mentorship. And so that's a great kind of footnote in terms of sometimes it's better to seek someone that is really good in X versus just create it yourself.
Right.
Like we've obviously been in the works of creating our own mentorship program. We unofficially do it a lot, and I know a lot of people at CDI
as managers, you're mentoring all the time.
Well, yeah, but I mean, even we take it seriously. Where a lot of our leadership has even taken formal mentor training, right? So it is definitely very important to us, and that's something that I would say to our listeners, like, even if it's someone you follow all the time on TikTok, LinkedIn, whatever, like, they're almost your mentor indirectly, but you can reach out to a lot of these people and ask, for some sort of help.
Yeah.
Right. But that's it. I like that answer. That's really cool.
And depending on how far that person is, right? Because you're not always going to reach out to somebody, or they may not answer, depending on your relationship with them. And in that case, I typically will go on Google videos and skip around. And 2X is my favorite speed to listen things. I put everything on 2X unless it's Rich Falcone, and then I usually slow it down because he talks so fast.
Yeah, well, I would say he's a New Yorker, but he's also from down the street from where we're filming right now.
Yeah.
So he's not. So he's been there long enough where he is, but at the same time, he's from kind of Western Jersey.
I don't know what it is, but he talks faster than 90% of the people.
I'll give you guys a trick. AI, explain like I'm 18.
Yeah.
What this is.
ChatGPT. Yeah.
ChatGPT, Google Bard, whatever it is. Explain preface it with explain like I'm 18.
Yeah.
And then this. And then it gives you a high level. It's
then you still have to read it. See, I'm not
yeah, but then I keep asking, I ask follow-up questions. I ask follow-up questions.
Yeah.
And I have a conversation with the thing, and it gives me the most direct answer. I'm serious.
I know, I've used it.
Is that how you find companionship these days?
This is how I find everything nowadays. Literally every facet of my day now is I'm checking with AI.
Yeah.
Well, so let's talk. Before we wrap up here, let's talk about that, because it's obviously it's huge with us at CDI. We're meeting with every vendor that's ever existed, basically, to see what their story is, so that we can add to our own story, because we have we have one. But you and I have talked about it recently, of how Bard, as well as Bing's AI engine, since it's connected to the internet, it gives you recent info.
Exactly.
But it's not as eloquent, let's say, as ChatGPT. Right? It's almost like it's almost like, have you ever read the forums about LaCroix, how it's like someone 2 blocks away peeled a banana, and that's what it tastes like, stuff like that. Those are they're hilarious. That's like how Bard explains things. It explains things in this vague term.
It's so bad.
It's awful.
ChatGPT is excellent. So I take to your point.
Yeah.
If I need to learn a technology on the fly or quick, or I want to get into some specific topic, I go to Bard first, typically.
Yeah.
Right? And then I dump it into ChatGPT and I say, rewrite this, clean this up, or
Make it
whatever.
nice.
And honestly, that's how I'm doing a lot lot of tasks on a day-to-day basis, right?
Yeah.
I'm asking it to check things for me. Is this accurate?
Right.
How would you phrase this? And listen, it cuts down, honestly, an hour and a half a day that I'd be sitting there thinking on how to write an email or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm just so much more efficient, and I'm leveraging it in so many different ways that I can. Statements of work, management, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's perfect for everything.
So something that I had a conversation with one of the people that was on the show, Jarrett, who is one of our specialists, AI, ML, HPC, right? He was talking about how a lot of content out there between books, newsletters, blogs, all those things. Mm-hmm. He had a good point. He bets that all of the search engines might start having a originality weighting to the search engine.
What does that mean?
In terms of if you're writing a blog and I search for Workday, because we were talking about it, it basically lowers your weighting in the ranking because it can tell it was written by AI.
See, we could spend hours on this topic because I wrote something, I dumped it in ChatGPT and I said, did you write this? It goes, yes, I wrote this. I was like, no, I wrote this. So
you're that good?
Yes, I am a robot.
I've read his emails.
But you ask it something, try it. Write something, dump it, and it's like, yeah, I wrote it. So I think it's still...
I use it for checking to make sure I have all the facts, is how I've been using it. A lot of people out there might know I fortunately, but unfortunately, attend a lot of the conferences. I always write a blog. Thankfully, I get complimented on the darn thing, so someone reads it.
You tend to omit a lot of information.
I'm selective. But at the same time, one of the things I've been doing is I go to Bard and I say, give me all of the announcements, give me the blah, blah, blah. And I make sure there wasn't anything major, like, you know, I didn't like, I wasn't,
missed.
Didn't have a hangover the day of the second.
So you basically say, write me a blog, what you missed at X, and then,
I write it myself, but I use that as my content.
You do.
Trust me, I asked it. It was
Which camera's on right now?
It was no bueno.
Sure you do.
Trust me, I tried.
It's all right,
it
man. It's all, listen, work smarter, not harder. We've been saying that for
decades.
Our entire lives.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
You got to leverage the tools at your disposal to make you more efficient and make you more successful. That's all it is. That's what it comes down to.
So, Colleen, is there anything you'd like to leave us with? Any kind of like take homes or any advice for someone trying to get kind of your position?
I mean, leverage people. At the end of the day, we have all this AI, right? Like, and you can't really ask ChatGPT or Bard for a new job. So leverage the people around you. I mean,
it's worth an experiment.
Yeah. Maybe I'll try that one.
Find me a new job.
I would say use the people because that's the resource that we have.
Yeah.
That's right here. And spending time, like we spend so much time away from each other now because of the workforce and work from home. But if you can make an effort to be around people, and that's still going to be what's going to get you in the long run, I think.
Agree.
Places, yeah.
It's a really mushy ending, and I appreciate it. That's so feely.
I'm emotional.
It feels really. That was nice.
You guys want a hug? No.
I feel like we should do a group hug for Kyle. So once again, everybody, thank you so much for joining us at SAs and IPAs. Do write us for any feedback. Anything you'd like to see in the show. You're going to start to see some other, maybe shorter content from us soon.
TikTok.
And similar to something like to a TikTok. But if there's other things, we take your feedback seriously. So SAs and IPAs at cdillc.com. Thank you once again, and cheers, everyone.
Happy 10th episode.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to me, and happy engagement to Spency, our producer.
SAs and IPAs is a production of CDI Studios and is produced by Alyssa Hall and Spencer Grogan. To learn more about CDI, you can visit cdillc.com.